I have a friend who is a teacher in Thailand. Her name is Chi. She recently asked me if I ever teach 3 to 5 year olds and how I do it. In fact, I've never taught 3 to 5 year olds. I've been in this business about 40 years, but I've never taught those young children. But I gave it some thought and I've come up with a partial solution on how I would approach a class of little kids. First of all, let me preface this by saying I go back to Korea with my wife every year, at least once or twice. And when I'm there, I'm just fascinated by my little nieces. They're 4 or 5 years old now. And when we go to their house, they come back from the kindergarten. They have these elaborate routines of singing and dancing with all types of choreography in it. And sometimes they're in Korean, and the parents are even prouder when these little 3, 4, 5 year olds are singing songs and doing dance routines to English songs. When I see it, I just get, I just feel amazed that they're able to do that. I often think they're trying to prep them for choreography for later in life when they'll join a K-pop group, which are very popular, not only in Korea but around the world. But when I ask my little nieces what the words to the songs mean, they don't know, but they were able to mimic the English. And if I were to teach a child 3 to 5 years old, I would take their cue. In the United States, a little 3-year-old can't write and can't read. It's been a while since I had children, but I don't believe they could read or write at the age of 3. So reading and writing for them is just, it's not worth doing. That's not how they learned English. My children learned English. It's not how Korean children or Thai children can mimic me. So I would get rid of everything that I would go to the blackboard and just erase the whole blackboard. I would never use a book with pictures. The problem with that is that teachers will find themselves in a mode where they only become glorified dictionaries. They teach them how to say butterfly. I say butterfly about twice a year. Is that worth knowing for a little child? Pizza. They show a picture of pizza. I say pizza only once a week. That's on Friday when we eat pizza. But why use their abilities in these reading skills and writing skills, or teaching them songs? When people meet each other, they don't sing. They talk to each other. So we want to teach them conversation skills. So in this part 1, I'm going to show you how I would teach them, these are little kids, how to begin to speak English. I would begin with the adjective. Now, little children don't know what adjectives are. They don't know what verbs are. For other students, I have on my website, make it a question, and there's a schismatic here with positive and negative questions, the present, the past, and the future. This is too complicated for little kids. So I would not show them this. First of all, they don't know what positive and negative are. It just, those words don't make sense. What I would do is first, I'm going to teach them what I learned when I was a kid, very, very young in first grade. I can still remember. The teacher made us repeat. M-I-R-U is he. Are we, are you, are they. Now, for little children, I would have them all standing. If they sit down, they're going to be going to sleep, and I don't want that. So I would have them all stand. I would give them then hand motions which they have to use. 6 different hand motions so that they can relate to the question. The first is I am, or am I, am I. Am I, you are, he is. We are, you are, they are. Now why? First of all, in the singular, I, there's only one hand. You, only one. He, because there may be a lot of he's, but the same, only one hand because it is in the singular. When we get to the plural, we, I begin to use both hands. We, you, both hands, you, because it's more than 2 people, and they, many people. Now the kids, I wouldn't say to them singular and plural, those are meaningless, but I, you, he, we, you, they, that they can get. So I would begin with this. I would have them repeat. Remember, their brains are like sponges. They just soak up things. If my little nieces can do dance routines to English, for a couple minutes, this is simple, okay? So just have them repeat. You're like here. This is you, and these are your students, okay? Have them mimic you. Am I? Are you? Is he? Are we? Are you? Are they? You do that multiple times, and first it'll be a little slow, but then it will begin to pick up. They will get it very, very easily. So they will go through that routine. Now, there's a little difference in he is, she is, it is that you have to teach them. So what I would do is I would put a chair in front of them, 3 chairs. I would put, this is it. This is the class, and these are the 3 chairs I would put. I would put a boy here, a girl here, and leave this one empty. And I would stand right here. And I would point. Am I, are you? He is. We are, you are, they are. The next one. Am I, are you, is she? Are we, are you, are they? This, no one's in it, so that's it, right? So, am I, are you, is it? Are we, are you, are they? Now, these are all in the present tense, which we were first practicing. So, you go through that a number of times, so you get them to remember themselves, to remind themselves about he, she, and it all take is it, is she, is he. Then I would go through the routine again and make a little competition between the boys and girls. When we get to this part with the is he, is she, is it, I would have the boys try to scream louder than the girls. Are, am I, are you, is he? And the girls would say, is she at the same time, and have a little fun with that. Then I would go back to, so we've taught them the present question. We haven't used any adjectives. All we're doing is saying, am I, are you, is he, are we, are you, are they. That's the basis of all questions with the adjective. And later on, we'll find out with verbs. Then I would go through the sentence. Then we go have them mimic once again using their hands. I am, you are, he is. We are, you are, they are. Do that a number of times with them. Then, once they get familiar with that, and once again, if they have difficulty with he is, she is, it is, then I'd split them in like this. This person's going to say, am I am. Are you, you are. Is he is. Do that a number of times. That will get them used to speaking. Conversation is, are you happy? Is he happy? Is she happy? She is happy. You're just repeating. So you're getting them to make the connection. Are you? Now, obviously, there's one little quirk in here, one little strange thing, is if you ask somebody, are you? Usually they say I am in the singular. So how do you get them to feel that? So you have these kids here and you have two kids here, okay? Just picture this. This is the singular and this is the plural, both of these two. So somebody says, are you? This person says, I am. Right? This person says in the plural, are you? Then these two people would go, we are. Because it's the plural, two people, right? So, am I tired? I am tired. Are you tired? I am tired. Is he tired? He is tired. Well, I put an adjective there. Am I am. Are you? I am. Is he? He is. Are we? We are. Are you? We are. So they get the idea that the sentence or the question, which is I asked, are you, is answered by I am usually. I would then, there are short forms to the sentences, which we all know. He is he's, right? So I would then go with them, and this will be a slow process, but you're taking it one step at a time. I would have the kids go, you're trying to teach them the short form of he is, he's, right? So I would get them to go on one side, this side would say I am. This side would say I'm. Now for the kids, for hand motions, the one side says I am. I would have them just go like this. I'm. You are, you're. He is, he's. Why? Because they're collapsing it, right? So we go through that. So that's the positive in the present tense. I've covered the short forms of the I am, you are, he is, right? Now I've got to go to the negative. So how am I going to do that with them to make it fun? I would use the same hand motions, I, but instead of okay, here it is. You say, so it would be like this, the format. You're the teacher and these are the students. This is what I'd be saying. I am, they would say I'm. He is, excuse me, this is negative. I am not, I'm not. You're not. Wait, I'm a little confused. Get my act together here. We're teaching them the negative. The negative, I would use the same hand motions. I am. And then for the negative, you just have them shake their heads. In English, this is no. I don't know in your culture if you use the same head gesture. Do whatever gesture you want that is appropriate to your culture. But I would say, I'm not, you're not, he's not, shake your head, we're not, you're not, they're not. So they get the idea that that's the negative. And I would go through that with them. And, I would say, I am. They said, I'm not. I use the short form first. Instead of I am not, I would use I'm not. Because then when we go to show them instead of saying I'm not, when we have to expand that I am not, which is the same, I would have them go like this. I'm not, because they're making it longer. You're not. She's not. We're not. They're not. When we studied the positive, he is, we collapsed it, he's. So I would then go through that with him. All the time making them very, very, it's almost like just mimicking them. Do not use any adjectives at the beginning. Just go through the present. I would use the same format then to go to the next time after they're completely familiar with that. I would go to the present. Let me show you here. I would follow the same routine if you are doing this to teach them the past tense. Now, even new students in grammar school, you say present, past, and future, and their eyes glaze over. It's sometimes, unless they really got a good grasp of things. So I just write up here, you write it in your own language. This is today, and tell them what we studied today. Now I'm going to teach you yesterday. This is instead of saying the past, I just put yesterday, so they get an idea. And then you go through was I, were you, was he, and you go through that same little song and dance there. Then they're all familiar with this, and they can simply do this with their hand gestures, same hand gestures. I would tell them then we have a future. Will I be? Will you be? Will she be? Will we be? Will they be? And all the time they are doing this. Will I be? Will you be? Will he be? The girls can shout, will she be, right? Will we be? Will you be? Will they be? They begin to do that, and then it becomes second nature. And they will be going, I am, you are, he is. We are, you are, they are. Am I, are you, is he. Are we, are you, are they. They can do that in present, past, and future. You don't have to use those words. You don't have to use positive and negative. You can just, get them used to that. So that would be how I would first teach my students. When they become completely familiar with that, I would then move on to part 2, which is how I would do an introduction to verbs for them. Thank you. I hope it's been helpful.